Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibottoms coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at something absolutely special and a bit of a surprise. Today we have the new NECA Christopher Reeve Superman. Except a 7-inch version, not their 1/4 scale version. Which really caught a lot of us completely off guard. This figure was announced at the exact same time that it was actually released at stores. How NECA kept something like this a secret is completely beyond me. So kudos to NECA for keeping the secret, because this is absolutely terrific. Now, this isn't the only one that they're doing. They're doing a couple others. They did the Heath Ledger Joker, as well as the 1960s version of Batman, all in the 7-inch scale. And they're exclusively available at Toys R Us. Now for the package, as you can see, absolutely gorgeous window package here with Superman kind of in this Fortress of Solitude sort of look. I mean, really very nice, very classic looking Superman logo. You got the Fortress of Solitude, like I said, kind of put here on the package. You come around here to the back, really great product shot. And it says, rocketed to Earth from the dying planet Krypton, baby Kal-El was found by a farming couple who named the boy Clark Kent and raised him as their own. Discovering his enormous powers, they instilled in him strong moral values and inspired him to become a hero. Now, disguised as Clark Kent, bumbling mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet, he uses the powers given to him by Earth's yellow sun to wage a ceaseless battle against crime and injustice. And then, of course, you have the Superman the movie logo right down there. Absolutely stellar. You come around here to the bottom, and as you can see, you got the DC, Superman, Warner Brothers logo there, NECA, and then all the people responsible for making this figure. Now, as I said, this is exclusively available at Toys R Us, and unfortunately, it's only available here in the United States. The deal that NECA made with Warner Brothers to get these figures out here was to include them with a special offer to also buy DVDs. And unfortunately, that offer is only good here in the US. But for the package, that's about it for it. So without further ado, let's get this out here and see how cool it actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Superman opened up and out of his packaging. And I am absolutely blown away. Now, I never got into collecting, quarter scale figures. Those are really big, but NECA has done an amazing job with a lot of different characters in the quarter scale sort of format. And basically what they did was they took their quarter scale version of Superman and scaled them down into this 7-inch version, which is absolutely terrific. Now, they've done it before. Here is well, not the specific 1989 version, but you got the Michael Keaton version of the video game version of Batman. So you can see, scale-wise, these guys work pretty good, although he's leaning a little bit forward. So you can see that the scale works very nicely. And much like they nailed the likeness for this, they absolutely nailed it with this guy. Now, I don't like doing this because, honestly, I've always said it's kind of hard to compare, Hot Toy figures to NECA ones. But I want to show you this. The sculpt for these two figures really is terrific. It absolutely looks like Christopher Reeve, and you're paying for a fraction of a figure. I mean, I can't really, if I bring this closer to kind of do a full side-by-side, you really kind of lose some of the focus, because this guy goes out of focus some, but it's incredible how great they got the likeness to Christopher Reeve. It's a little bit more stern of a look, but that likeness is absolutely there. So it's not just Hot Toys that can do great sculpting and recreations. You're also seeing a little bit different in terms of the actual suit color. I actually like the NECA version a little bit more. There's more of that blue in it, whereas the Hot Toy one is a little bit more of a faded blue. But there is no question, when you look at this, who this guy is. I mean, yes, it's Superman, but you can absolutely tell that it's meant to be Christopher Reeve. Now, for his accessories, he really doesn't come with much other than the fact that he does come with a both right and left hand that's sculpted in a super flying kind of pose. One thing that does kind of stink is that it's blue plastic, as you can see, and it's painted with the flesh color, and you can see that as you move it, you see that blue paint or that blue plastic underneath, and you can see that it scrapes off. That's really kind of unfortunate. And I mean, you're seeing, like, for example, here's this perfectly fine. You got the flesh color. This actually looks like there's a lot. You can see right here though that joint is kind of fused because there's so much paint right there, which is kind of unfortunate. But you're also seeing it on the regular hands. So as you bend it, you can see the blue plastic right there, and you move it back and forth. So it's really unfortunate. I wish that they actually molded this in the flesh color, just because that really does kind of look ugly. It's not very appealing whatsoever. Now, if you keep it straight, it's not as bad, but you can still see the blue right there. So, like I said, it's a little unfortunate, but it's still a great looking piece nonetheless. You got this real nice cloth cape. You come around, you got the Superman logo there on the back. You can take this, you can see that it's attached kind of underneath his torso here, which works perfectly. You can just flop that over there if you really wanted to. I like kind of lifting it up and kind of folding it underneath right here, just kind of get it off of his shoulders. I think that's a really cool look for him. But really very nice nonetheless. The paint is really good on his face. There were two of these at my local Toys R Us. And the first one, it kind of looked like some of the paint in his hair was scraped away. So I did find a pretty good one, and I'm pretty happy with that. So great detail there. You got a really nice painted Superman logo there on his chest. This section right here is a little bit soft. It's very similar to how the Batman one was, but this has the entire torso being part of that soft rubber, as opposed to Batman getting this kind of out of the way. You can see that it's just this section right here, and you can see that it flops up right there. That's his body armor. That's how the black version one as well, but that's basically what you have going on here. So first, articulation, you can see that the head here is on a nice ball joint. You get it looking way far down, looks about that far up, so you can kind of get him in a flying pose, but because of his hair sculpt back here, you don't really get that high of a look. But if you're going to position him, you could probably do something more similar to that. So you get a nice range of motion there. Tilts side to side, all that stuff. The arms rotate all the way around. They're on what I believe are just pin and swivel joints. So it's pinned in right there, and then it swivels out. Only swivels out to about there, though. The sculpting here does kind of limit a little bit of that. So you don't get a heck of a lot of range of motion with that, but it is still there. The elbows move about that far up. This one actually, let me see here. This one actually goes up more than this one does, so I don't know why. I'm trying to look to see if there's any kind of paint gum up in there that's preventing it. I don't really see too much, but you do get the elbows moving about that far. They rotate in and out. You can see that the wrists rotate all the way around, and then they do hinge back and forth. He does rotate here at the waist. Kind of, it feels like it's on a ball joint right there, so you get a little bit of pivot for it. Kind of angles back some, so you can get him kind of positioned like that and bending here at his waist and get a little bit higher of a head position, I suppose. The hips here move forward. They move back. It is a little bit more restricted back here where his butt is. Moves in and out very nicely. Let's see, this one, yeah, real nice range of motion there. They do rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Great amount of detail in the articulation for his legs. Very, very impressed with how that works out. The knees bend. They also rotate. And then he does have these really crazy hinges and swivels and stuff here at the ankle, so you can get him tilted like so. You get a wide pose with him if you want to. You can tilt him back as if he's flying a little bit more. They can swing forward, everything. So great amount of articulation. It's not the most articulated figure, but for what it is, it works really very well and comes together very, very nicely. This is, for a lot of people, Superman. And this is, without doubt, what I think of when I think of Superman. It's Christopher Reeve. He's just always what I envision when I think of a Superman. And I'm really floored that NECA was able to do such a great job in a 7-inch scale for this guy. Now, like I said, unfortunately, it is a Toys R Us exclusive, and really the only way that you can get this, if you're not in the United States, is basically someplace like eBay, or maybe finding someone in the States to kind of middleman it for you. That is kind of unfortunate that international people are going to just in general miss out on this, but that's not NECA's fault whatsoever. That's just the way that Warner Brothers kind of structured the deal. And it was either that or nothing at all. So I'm happy that we just got it. Now, what I'm curious about, I mean, I do have the black version of the 1989 Batman, but I kept it in the package. What I'm curious to see, though, is that they've also done a quarter scale Batman Returns Danny DeVito Penguin. And they've also announced that they do have the license for a quarter scale Catwoman. So I'm really curious to see if at some point in time we'll get 7-inch versions of those guys. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just curious to see what other kind of surprises they'll give us. This was definitely a very welcome one. And if you guys can get your hands on this, I would absolutely recommend him. He is well worth picking up and adding to your collection. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.